Meghan Markle. What do you know about these reported attempts of hers? If you're not invited to a funeral, I think it's safe to say just, you're not invited to a funeral.
Yeah, yeah.
This one tried to like worm her way in, knock that door down. Hey, I'd love to show up at this. What it's a funeral, but to Meghan, allegedly, it's just another star-studded event.
Yeah, I broke this story on my Substack, Maureen, that Meghan was angling for an invite to this funeral. She saw it as an opportunity. She's not wrong there. These big celebrity funerals, they're not like ours. They really are networking moments. I went to Joan Rivers' funeral, and it was shocking how many people were there trying to get jobs, trying to get comedy gigs. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's really awful that this happens. But when Meghan is really smart and outrageous, and she doesn't miss an opportunity when she thinks she can make one, is she wanted to be with the high fashion players of the world. Everybody from Anna Wintour on down was at this funeral. And it's a world that we know Meghan would love to be part of. The one thing about Meghan is she doesn't ever believe there is any world, any place that she cannot insert herself into. Her ambition is unrivaled. And so we know from last summer when she turned up at a fashion show in Paris. And it's still a little unclear whether or not she was actually technically invited to that. So I think Meghan
Oh,
put
she told
this.
New York Magazine that she reached out to the designer herself and said, "Hey, I'd love to come and support you if you'd like me to." So she invited herself to that. The only place that she has a standing open invite to where she will not appear, a tragedy, is her father's bedside with his half his leg
Hmm.
gone, amputated in the Philippines. But if you're a famous, iconic fashion designer, she would love to attend your funeral. Love.
You hit it absolutely right. I'm sure she would have flown out. I'm sure she would have felt as if she was one of the biggest stars there. Gwyneth Paltrow was there. We also saw Anne Hathaway there. Now, it's a lot of people, Elizabeth Hurley, who have had a long time relationship with this really legendary designer. Meghan is not part of that world. I did a little research. She's wore Valentino a few times, but it's not her staple. It wasn't like he designed her wedding dress or major moments in her life. So this wasn't about paying respect to a man that she admired, a man that she had worked with. This was just sheer opportunity, which we shouldn't be surprised about. Let's not forget, at the opening of The Lion King in Britain, Harry was pitching Meghan to the heads of Disney about her being an animated character. So they use these opportunities, they use these occasions to push themselves forward. With Meghan and Harry, it always backfires and it ultimately ends up egg on their face.
Rob, what you just said, though, more than once, I think is the salient thing. She sees a funeral as an opportunity. She sees a funeral as an opportunity when, the likes of Gwyneth Paltrow, whether you like her or not, she had an extremely long-standing close relationship with Valentino. In fact, she was there in Italy celebrating a landmark birthday of his when her father fell ill and died in Italy. And I believe Valentino really helped her through that, like arranged for her to get back to the States. So, she's just such a lizard. So, okay, she's refused there. And again, zero shame. So she and Harry, why do I keep calling him Henry today? I have no idea why.
That's his real name. His real name is Henry. It's not Harry. On his birth certificate, it's Henry. So maybe that's why.
Perhaps. So he's they toddle over to Sundance where allegedly they have produced, their names are on the stock as a producer, um a documentary about Girl Scouts trying to sell their cookies. It's called Cookie Queen. Edge of your seat viewing. Okay. Now, there are reports the Daily Mail has that the Sundance screening had rows and rows and rows of empty seats, while the Sussex squad, those nebulous 10 fans out there, claim that it was a standing room only, sold out screening, because who doesn't want to watch a bunch of 8-year-olds trying to sling some cookies over at the local Stop and Shop? Rob.
Maureen, I had some friends, people I know, colleagues who are at Sundance, real film folks who are there working, and they went to this screening, and they said when it started, and it's a small theatre, this is not Radio City, this is a small theatre. When it started, there was about 150 empty seats, as the movie progressed, I think ushers or people were pushed in to try and make it look a little less
Hmm.
embarrassing, but there still was about 60, 70 seats. What's really unusual is that anyone that's been to Sundance knows that these theatres are packed for the 2 weeks, for the time that the festival is on. It's really hard to get a ticket. So
There
it's,
are often lines outside
yeah,
of screening rooms,
yeah.
well before.
And they do it on purpose. They really want to put them in small theaters so they can say they've got a lot of buzz and they had to turn people away. And the
Hmm.
movie companies go and watch these and they see people and the lines around the block and they buy them. So this is interesting. The fact it's at Sundance tells me they've not sold it to Netflix, or else they wouldn't have taken it to
Great
Sundance. So they're
point.
looking for a distributor from this. But get this, you'll love this. It's an exclusive that I have today just for you. People who have seen the movie tell me that once again, Harry and Meghan have stepped in it because now they've really upset the Girl Guide Foundation organization because this movie is pretty negative. What I did not know, but the movie points out, is that moms and dads have to buy all these cookies up front and then they sell
Scandal.
them. So they have to pay this money up front. And in the movie, it's quite controversial that a lot of these Girl Scouts now, their parents are buying lots and lots of cookies and then selling them on the internet. They're not going door to door. That whole cookie business has changed. And so if you have a kid and you have a lot of money, you can get them a special brownie badge by buying these cookies. The Girl Scouts don't care if you sell them or not. They're how many your parents buy. Meghan and Harry didn't seem to understand this until they watched the movie, which my friends are telling me might have been for the very first time.
These two
So that
fuckwits. They're such dopes. They're such dummies. You come to me. Good luck selling that movie because what real drama requires is some conflict and some tension. And if the only real narrative question in Cookie Queens is, will these girls sell all their cookies so they can have another year with the Girl Scouts? But the answer is, yeah, of course, because their parents have to buy them in bulk. Story's over.
it's over. I've told you the whole movie. I'm sorry, did I give away the plot? Maybe not. That's the whole movie. That's the whole movie. They stretch it into an hour and a half. It's telling that Harry and Meghan did not get up and introduce the movie. Normally, the stars,
Hmm.
the producers get up. If Oprah Winfrey had a movie there, if Steven Spielberg did, they'd certainly get up before that movie started. I went to the Wicked premiere in New York. The whole cast didn't shut up. The movie was delayed an hour because we had to see Cynthia and Ariana touching each other, holding each other, loving each
Ugh.
other. So this was interesting. So I hit the phone. So I was like, what's going on here? And they said that they were happy to have Meghan and Harry as producers, but they don't really want them out front selling it because the brand of the Sussex now is something that is so toxic, that is so damaged, that I think the other producers realise when Harry and Meghan signed on to this movie 2 years ago, their stock was falling, but nobody knew it was going to go as low as it is today. Now it's at the bottom of the barrel, and it's almost as if the other producers, the real movie makers, the people that actually made this movie, now I think they regret ever getting Harry and Meghan
As
involved in
does
this.
everyone who does any kind of business with them. You don't have to be one of the financial wonderkins of industry, that great HBO show, to know, to read the room. This brand was falling. I could have predicted that 2 years ago. So could you, Rob?
Don't get involved. Everything they touch really, really falls apart. I think at the moment, anybody that's thinking about any future deals with them should run for the hills. This wasn't sold out. He'd rushed back from London to do this. She did, though, give a very revealing interview on the red carpet that I watched. Mint, thin mint, are her favorite cookies.
Riveting. The woman contains multitudes. By the way, but as we put a pin on this and move to another family that's a hot mess that has ties to these two dopes, she it was announced last week after you and I spoke. Netflix has officially canceled With Love, Megan. Now, but I think the headline here is that Netflix felt the need to announce that rather than just let it fritter away and let people forget. To me,
Yeah,
it says that they are done
but
with
that
Meghan Markle.
Yeah, they don't. They don't need to tell that. There's no law that they have to announce this. The Real Housewives on Bravo are great at that. They never cancel shows. They just don't bring them back.
That's
We're
right.
still waiting for the New York Housewives. It might never come back. I think
That's right.
Miami's been gone for 10 years. So you don't have to announce this stuff. They announced it. And that was their way of washing their hands. It's over. She claimed she had two seasons. We now know that is not true. She had one and she
Hmm.
taped both seasons together. So they'd
Hmm.
already got a second season in the can. And so that was ready to go. So really, this show had one season, disastrous ratings. And I think they want to move on now. Netflix is such a major company that they're trying to buy Warner Brothers. The last thing they want us to talk about is Harry and Meghan. That's not a good look. To have Harry and Meghan as your stars, as people in your roster, is something that I just don't think anybody really wants anymore. In fact, they've become nothing but a distraction. So what did Netflix do? They announced it. They told the world what we knew, Maureen. We had reported it months ago. No more.
Namas. The beauty industry has been scamming women for decades, peddling toxic, overpriced potions that promise miracles and deliver nothing. Everyone's sick of it. And that's why Van Man's Pearl Eye Cream is a game changer. Van Man's Pearl Eye Cream rejects the chemical garbage and goes primal. Their products are made with grass fed tallow paired with wild caught pearl powder, an ancient nutrient dense secret that actually supports eye health, not skin health. Deeply penetrating emu and castor oils smooth skin tone and help fight vision degradation, cataracts, and even floaters. Then royal jelly, organic green tea, frankincense, and rose, real pronounceable ingredients that tighten skin and boost collagen. No fillers, no fraud. This is the eye cream that the industry doesn't want you to discover. And they've got lots of other great all natural products too. I use their lip balm constantly. So go give your eyes the care they actually deserve. Go to vanman.shop/Maureen and use code Maureen for 15% off your first order. That's vanman.shop/Maureen and use code Maureen for 15% off your first order. Van Man, real ingredients, no exceptions.